Okay, so good. I guess I just start.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Hey everyone, welcome to tonight's webinar. We have Fran, the co-founder of GoGet and an ex-BCG consultant. So today we have a lot of your questions. So I'll be going through your questions and thank you for joining us today. So Fran, let's just start off by introducing yourself.
All right. My name is Francesca, and as Brian says, I'm from GoGet. So I previously worked in the Boston Consulting Group for 4 years before this, and then started GoGet about 3 years. So I graduated in 2010 and been in the workforce for about 7 years. Started obviously in a very traditional corporate job. 9 to 9 and stint, but then moved to entrepreneurship. So I guess that's what this is about.
Yeah, so I think like for us, we did a survey and like 40% of our users were very keen on like entrepreneurship and stuff.
Okay.
And you fit perfectly there. So the questions are mixed between entrepreneurship and
Corporate. Okay.
Corporate.
Yeah.
So, okay, first off, what is a management consultant and what did you used to do?
Okay. Great question. So you know this too, because you were from there. So management consultants are people that work with other companies to advise them on how to solve certain problems that the companies are facing. So essentially what some people really call them is they're meant to be like doctors that diagnose the problem with the patient, but in this case the patient's a company, and then provides the medicine or the solution to the company in solving that problem. So that's usually what consultants do. They come in, they try to bring their expertise, they try to bring their knowledge, and they provide solutions to a problem that a company may be facing.
So you mentioned that, there's companies have lots of problems, right? So what was BCG specialized in?
So the Boston Consulting Group specialized in strategy consulting, so management and strategy consulting, which was basically helping a lot of the C-levels in companies solve their management problems or their strategy problems. So that involved, for example, thinking about how they would enter new markets, to what would they do to restructure their company, or how to even cut their costs to bring them to have higher margins. So that would be kind of the typical questions we would face.
Yeah. So how was a typical project?
Okay, there's no average that is very typical, but for when I was there, typical management consultants would be management consulting projects would take around 3 to 4 months. But obviously, if the client wanted to move us a little bit longer to execute some tasks or ensure the project was managed thoroughly, it may go up to 6 months. I've seen projects last a year to 2 years if they are very long relationships as well, so it really can vary.
Yeah. Awesome. So, everyone wants to get into BCG and everything. But what made you decide to leave BCG and start your company?
So I don't think it was a aha moment. Like I didn't figure it out, and I wasn't. It didn't come to me as easily. It was definitely a gradual process. So I had been in Boston Consulting for about 4 years by then, and at that point, it was really a question of should I continue or should I be considering other options? And as a consultant, usually the path would be to consider MBA or maybe to leave and join another company. So for me, I knew that I did not want to continue being in the Boston Consulting Group just because I didn't picture being a partner in the company as my ambition. It wasn't where I saw myself going. Not that it's bad, it just wasn't where I wanted to go to. So I started looking, and it was just obviously due to personal life. I didn't want to leave the country for an MBA. I had to be in this country. So then that ruled out MBA courses for me. It then landed me on should I go to a different company? So I did not plan on starting a company. I planned on working still for another one. I went for interviews, genuinely. Yeah, so I interviewed for the Lazadas, during the 2014. It was just through the interviews I was like, wait, why am I interviewing for another startup when maybe I have an idea in the back of our heads that we've been playing with.
Yeah.
And so that was actually when I said to the other co-founders, Feng and was maybe I should just take a few months of leave from BCG and try out our idea. So that shows you how risk averse I was. I didn't even quit. I just like told BCG to give me a few months of holiday, leave of absence, and then I will come back. But actually, after one month and a half of GoGet, I ended up calling BCG and saying I quit. I'm not coming back, and then they let me go. So it was a very casual and gradual thing. A lot of people do think that entrepreneurs are really risk taking and they just like jump the gun and they go and quit their jobs and they're brave. Like my story is very different. I took very gradual steps.
That's awesome. Why GoGet? Why Aaron?
Platform? Honestly, we didn't sit there with many ideas. We had one idea. So it started out where we would meet up for coffee, the co-founders, and we thought, hey, it's really weird. Every time we try to meet up for coffee, we try to find the best cafes or restaurants, but there is no platform in KL that can tell us the best restaurant or like what's the best place to eat nasi lemak. So we thought, why isn't there like a Yelp or a Hungry Goer or a Open Rice in Malaysia for the country that loves food so much? And then we quickly realized that as we asked people like, hey, do you know where you would go for your best nasi lemak? Every Malaysian would be like, Village Park, or like, I know, like my favorite is nasi lemak and Bangsa. So we realized, hey, the information is not the problem. Everyone actually knows it because they talk about food so much. The problem was actually, hey, if I go to Village Park, it takes me ages to queue up, and then I don't have parking, and then it's really hot. Oh, and I have to pay toll, and then I have to come back to the office in an hour. So we said, oh, that's interesting. So it's getting the nasi lemak that's really painful. And then we realized that in a block of a building, usually 80% of people go to the same 20% of restaurants. So I'm sure someone near you is eating Village Park, and you could just ping them and say, hey, on the way back, can you just pick this up? That was where we had that spark where we say, oh my god, we can connect the city in a so much more efficient way when you can just transfer the information to someone in the area that you want it to be, and you tell them what you need, and maybe they'll pick it up and bring it on the way back because it makes sense for them. So that was a crowdsourcing idea that came around. From crowdsourcing, then it came, well, we don't need to just do food, we probably do documents, you do like anything. And we say, go get it.
Cool. Awesome. So you were an management consultant for 4 years. What skills did you learn, and how did it help you launch GoGet?
I feel like these questions should be asked to you, but okay. So I learned a lot genuinely in the Boston Consulting Group. If not, I've learned everything from there. It definitely was the best training grounds I've ever had. I would highly recommend it. The things that I learned mainly, though, was how to ask the right questions. And that sounds like silly, but it actually is really hard. Right? Like it is not that easy to know what question to actually ask to really get the right insight. So that's really important, because when you're solving problems, if you ask the right question, you'll get your answer faster. The other thing that I did get help in was being really structured in problem solving. So when you're faced with problems in the Boston Consulting Group, you're taught how to think through it so that you can solve it comprehensively and exclusively. And so that helps you become very thorough in your problem solving. I think that's very useful. Instead of just, let's just dimbat here and then solve that way, right? Probably that is really useful. And the last one is data analysis. Like I genuinely feel that that's one of the strengths that I got from BCG, to be able to take a very big chunk of data and analyze it and get insights. And that's so useful in today, right? So especially when we want to decide things.
I find as well, like when you're management consulting, you do a lot of problem solving, a lot of drawing nice slides, but then execution's everything in startups, right? So what was that transition like, from like planning everything to actually having to do it?
That's a great one. That's a great one, because I literally, when I left BCG and like I went around the city trying to pitch GoGet, I actually used to bring slides. And then I remember the first week it was like, why do I have slides? No one actually looks at them. I was like, oh my god, the real world doesn't look at slides. So then I was like, okay, throw slides off. So I never went to meetings with slides anymore. And now I show up in meetings without even bringing anything. And I realized that's actually how people run businesses. So yeah, I don't use slides as much. I only use them for obviously investors relationships. Ironically, I think I make the most slides for my team. I make more slides for my team right now than I do for outside people. Because I make slides for them on weekly meetings, right? I'll tell them like, oh, this is how our business is doing.
Yeah.
So I'm like making more slides for my team than other people. Yeah.
Yeah. So now that you run your own startup and everything, so what do you find is the main difference between running your own company and being a consultant?
Yes, you genuinely do instead of tell. Yeah, so consultants just tell usually what they think, whereas entrepreneurs have to do what they plan and fail as well. So it's like harder punches. I actually describe entrepreneurship let's see, job on I guess yeah, like a job but on crack. Yeah, but essentially it's like the highs are really high and the lows are really low. But like normal jobs, yeah, you just have highs and lows, and that's normal, like every job.
It's
like,
more stabilized, right?
Yeah, I feel for us like your highs are really high, but your lows are like the lowest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel that? So the transition, was it easy? From working in a company to launching your own company, was that an easy transition for you? From building your own team to like hiring to fundraising.
No. Yeah, just went into that hole and I started thinking of all those things. I'm like, no, it wasn't. It was really hard. Obviously, everyone has different journeys, so I'm sure some people could find it easier, but I found it hard. Everything. I didn't manage a team in BCG, so I had to manage a team here. I didn't have to pitch for business in BCG. Partners would do that. I have to do it here. I didn't have to manage the P&L in BCG. I have to do it. Yeah, so I didn't have to handle office politics in BCG. I actually have to manage the staff and ensure the culture and people are happy and create all these fun events. Like that's all the things we got to do, and it's really really hard.
So in GoGet, from your journey, it's been 3 years now, right?
Yeah.
So in those 3 years, what do you think was the hardest part?
Oh wow, yeah. Every part has hard parts. First year is a different kind of hard. Second year is a different kind of hard. Third year is a different kind of hard. First year, I would say the hardest was getting the public to trust service. So that was the hardest. Genuinely, we were so young, we had no brand, no one understood us. No one wanted to trust a stranger called a go-getter to deliver something to their doorstep. Yeah. So that was the hardest. The second year, I think what was hard, or what I learned the most, was that we didn't know how to focus on the right things in the second year. So, because as a startup, you have so many things you could do. I think that was the year where we just we try to say yes to everything, and we tried to manually hack everything, and then it could mean that you're just trying to do everything. But then the third year, the hard part was, well, now you got to really make ends meet, and since it's your third year, it's no longer about fluffy metrics. It's actually about P&L. Yeah. So do you break even? Yeah, and that's the hard part for us. It's like, can we make sure we break even? Yeah. Yeah. So I think every year has different big questions.
Challenges. How do you make sure your team is ready for this kind of challenges?
Wow. Because the question is am I ready for every challenge? Before my team is, I'm I don't think I am ready for even the challenge that I'm going through. So I would say it's probably not that they are going to be ready. It's just to make sure that how does the team come together when there is a challenge, right? So that we can work as a team and face it. And what's really great, we have an amazing team, genuinely amazing team. When things get rough, we've always been able to come out. We've always been able to pull through, and been just so lucky, right? So ironically, the hardest moments are usually the moments that we then end up shining from, right? So those are really good moments, yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, you must have, you must have met lots of entrepreneurs and everything. What do you think is good qualities of entrepreneurs? Yeah. I mean, you must have seen, I mean, the startups that launched and died, and what do you think is the key factors that stabilize or keep a startup running for 3 years?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. 3 years is super short, for people, yeah. There are companies that are alive for like 100 years. 3 years is so small, so I'm barely there. I think, I mean, to my little knowledge, what are the best qualities? I really hope if anyone considers entrepreneurship, one quality you must have, I think, is that you genuinely care for the main problem you're solving. Because if you don't really care for it that much, man, when things get rough, like they're rough, right? So you could be like, see you later, bye, right? Right? So if you care, then you won't run away, right? So like, let's make sure you care about these problems, right? Yeah. Don't just solve a problem that you think is fun. Solve a problem you care about, yeah. Yeah.
So often fresh entrepreneurs have difficulty getting the right networks or the right pieces of knowledge, and they tend to fall into many traps. So what would you say is like, what are the common pitfalls of young entrepreneurs besides solving a problem that they're passionate about? What other pitfalls do you see?
That's really good because I have a lot of pitfalls. I'll just use my pitfalls. Yeah. Okay, one of my biggest pitfalls, genuinely, and I really hope no one gets this, is like premature scaling. So don't prematurely grow your team or the way you do things just because you think it's time or you can. You really, really ensure you do that at the right time because it really can bite you in the back. And I guess when can this happen? It can happen if you just fundraise. You think, hey, okay, just fundraise. Like, okay, I can breathe. No, fire yourself under your ass. Make sure you remember that. Yeah. So you know what I mean? Like, two, maybe it's when you think you start seeing traction, so you're like, oh, cool, like, okay, let's hire. It's like, no, because it's another cost structure, right? So I think that was like one of the biggest pitfalls, and I hope that people can learn from that one. That was like the biggest one that I've learned. Yeah, I think that would be my main pitfall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about networks? So like for example, you're doing logistics.
Yeah.
How did you build the knowledge to run a logistics company? Do you think about it like that?
Okay, I wouldn't say we run a very traditional logistic company. So thankfully, because we don't pick from a playbook that exists. We do carve out a lot because it's so unique.
Yeah.
So how did we build this when we have no knowledge of it? I think it's just making sure that we are close to the users so that the users can tell us what to do. We will never know what to do really. But what we do is we just make sure the channels for the users to talk to us is open so that we can then adjust and change the product for the users. Yeah, a lot of the things we do actually on GoGet is really not by us. It's really because users complain or like the users give us feedback and then we like it. Yeah. So I wouldn't say that we had like the expertise that we figured it out. I think we just make sure that we can open our ears and then just listen to the market.
Yeah. So you were telling me that you were risk adverse and like leaving BCG and starting. Yeah. So all these young students and this 1-2 years working experience people, they want to leave and start their own company. What kind of advice do you give people that are currently working and wanting to start their own business? Okay. What should they do in the time being?
That's huge. Oh, okay. One really good advice I think is you don't need to actually drop everything just to try something out. So don't get like it in your head where it's a either or. You can sometimes do an and. And I want people to know that, right? Because like you could definitely test your product before even quitting. And that helps you, right? So like be smart about it. You don't have to be like bullish, right? You could just be calculative in how you take your risk. So if you're rolling out a shoe company, don't quit your job. Why don't you just make a pair of shoes? See if someone's going to even buy it first, right? Yeah, these things. So.
Yeah, that reminds me. So you went to Genevasi and everything as well, right? Yeah. So what do you think, what courses can people do to really help them grow into a good entrepreneur?
Yeah, well, Genovasi, since you mentioned it. Yeah. Genovasi, the design thinking course, is always very good. It teaches you how to solve problems in a very user-centric manner. Other courses, I haven't taken many courses, really. I have done Magic Stanford program, yes. I have done Magic Stanford program, yes. Actually, yeah, no, we've done really a lot of project programs now I think about it. Magic took us to Stanford, which gave us good exposure to the community and also taught us things.
Yeah.
Our co-founder has also gone through the ALPS program, which then taught us how to build the platform and linked us to senior developers. Cradle funding really helped us get through the first product development stage as well. Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you have any questions? Oh. Oh, okay. Give me a second.
Oh.
I got it. Sang Wuli asks, may I ask how data analytics help consultants to make a project actionable?
It's highly helpful. It's extremely integral to the whole process. Actually, you can't recommend solutions usually without any backing. Obviously, data can be quantitative and qualitative, and you'll need both to recommend a solution to your client. Otherwise, it's just he say, she say, and like a thumb in the air. So we need to definitely do data analysis to help projects become actionable.
Yeah, do you have any more questions? So yeah, do you guys have any more questions? Because I'm running out of questions that you guys have sent. So I have another question for Fran, but I'll just leave it to you guys to fill it up. So would you ever, looking back, would you have done GoGet?
Of course! Oh my gosh, yeah. But I mean, it's a fair question. I get it.
Yeah?
I get it. I get why you would ask that.
Yeah.
Because it is really hard. I mean, there have been dark days,
Yeah.
of course, right? And those dark days are dark. And I wonder, like, why am I doing this, right? I'm not gonna lie, tears have come to my eyes before, for this job.
How do you get over that? How do you just keep going?
Honestly, it's actually because of the team and the go-getters. Because I know them personally, and because we are doing what I believe is something that's just really going to change the future of work and the future of people being able to get connected for empowering things. I then push for that. I know there are go-getters every day that wake up, and the first thing they check is the go-get app, right? And then they sleep, and then they check the go-get app right before they sleep, and then they move to the next day and plan. And so, like, if that happens, man, I'm like, whoa, I really need to work. I need to work hard. Yeah. So I feel a lot of responsibility, but also, but it's very enjoyable, extremely enjoyable. Yeah. I think one thing that I did want to share. That links to this is, have you ever been really tired from a consulting project and maybe you go to work and then your eyes are like in a meeting, like it's like actually like your eyelids are dropping. You work because you work like a dog as a consultant, right? In GoGet I work just much. It's not much more than I did as a consultant. I've never, since I left BCG, have ever had a meeting where my eyelids are falling, which is weird. Right? Which is like, that's weird because I work way more now. So it must be that there's a different energy that you get for doing this. But I still work like way worse here than I did in BCG.
Yeah, I mean, I tell myself this, like, I work so long hours for another company, might as well build my own company.
Yeah.
But I also think it's because, I think when you are a consultant, you do so many different projects.
Yeah.
I just feel it just feels different because when you're focusing, like, let's say GoGet, you know everything about GoGet.
Yes.
It's very easy to just take in and understand what's your point of view.
Yeah, so, you gotta really see it through. Huh? Yeah.
Whereas if you're a project to project, like you could be in a telco company, like the month before now in a bank.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But that's GoGet, so it's always your company. You know exactly where you want to go.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Any last questions?
What is the top 3 talent you talent when you first start GoGet? And what talent you need now?
I guess this means what 3 skills did you need when you start GoGet?
Okay. Oh, that's much better. That helps me. Okay.
Yeah.
And what skills do I need now? Okay. I don't know if it's a skill, but like I was very naive starting GoGet, which helps. I think naivety breeds confidence and just tenacity. I think. And I think you need that as someone who's starting a company. Like you need to just like go, right? Don't listen to judgment. Like don't get baited by things. Like just go. Yeah, I can be naive though, but I think it was necessary for energy. I was definitely naive. Two, I am actually super thorough and detailed. I don't know if that is a skill as well, but I do know like early days I did like operations to like customer support to training every go-getter to then doing marketing to then doing.
Yeah, she means talent you hired. What's the first 3 hires? What was the first 3 hires you did?
Okay, first 3 hires that I did. Okay, what hires did I do now? No, okay, great. Sorry, that was so off of an answer. Okay, I'll start again. First 3 I hired, honestly, were all interns. Yeah, the first 3 were all interns. Because they could do everything and they were cheap. Right? Yeah. Okay, but my first full-time hire was an amazing person. She came to me randomly because we did one of our collaborations with the Village Girls and she saw our card. She contacted me and I hired her to be community builder actually. So community builder first, just because we were building a community. From there, then I moved her to do marketing, and then she started doing marketing. My next hire was the community builder for supply, so she did the go-getter community building. And then my third hire was the community builder for operations, so she handled the operations. So I had a marketer, a supply generation or acquirer, and then I had an operations person. And I'm glad that these people are still my core team. At least 2 of them are still in my core team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's asking
what do I need now, right? Who do I need now? I definitely need. Oh man, need is different to what I can afford, right? So I'll go with need. I need a CMO. I think I need a CMO. I definitely need a really good marketing person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everyone needs to be a good marketing person.
That is one thing I need. Yes. Yeah.
Actually, Fran already had a CTO because the co-founder from Wei was the CTO. So that's why her first hires were interns and then her community builders. So you didn't need it.
I didn't hire a CTO because already he was a co-founder.
Yeah.
And CFO was also another co-founder. So all co-founders was a CEO, a CTO, and a CFO. Yeah. And then everyone else were after that. Yeah.
Okay. Any last questions?
It's quite cool. Keep asking questions. I actually want to see it.
Keep asking questions, everyone.
Do we know how many people are watching? Oh, sorry. Okay, I got it.
16.
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
Okay, I think like if no one else has any questions, I think we are going to end this.
Okay.
Maybe last advice for wannabe entrepreneurs and trying to start their own thing.
Don't do it just because of hype. Please. Yeah, it's really, really hard. Yeah, I would say obviously do it because you genuinely believe in what you're solving. That's why I mean like genuinely care for your problem. Because it's really hard. It really is hard and it's not easy at all. It's definitely something that you'll need to be challenged through and it's not like a bed of roses. And again, I heard that story as well before I started and I still did it. You know, it's like, you can just say it, but like, you'll probably never get heard. And then people just have to do it and experience and then you get how hard it is.
Then you have to stop and you're like, Okay. Anyways, thank you so much, everyone. If you want to speak to Fran, you can find her on FutureLab, and she's an awesome mentor. You can have one-on-one session with her if you want to start your own company. All right. Thank you.
Bye. Yay. Thanks. Sorry about the drum and crack. I know I said it. I was like, oh no.